Hello and welcome everybody to the 14th episode of the OverRaided Podcast. You may notice that one of the camera slots is completely blank. That is because we did not hear from Jay tonight, even though I sent out my usual reminder a few hours before the podcast. We never heard back from him saying that he wasn't going to be here, but he is nowhere to be seen. So we're going to be down a man tonight, and that's part of the reason why we started a little bit late tonight. But why don't we go ahead and jump into the games that we've been playing over the last couple of weeks. I'm going to give this over to Oracle to start off because she didn't get to talk about Starbound for our last episode.
It's so typical that I've been playing Starbound. But yes, I have been playing Starbound. A lot of Starbound. But I also played Humble Christmas came on the 5th, so I got some new games in. And I played Planet of the Oz. I think it came out last year. But it was really good.
What kind of game is that?
It's like a side-scrolling puzzle kind of like game. But like you're a robot and you're stranded on this planet and you find these little things and the guy who made you has left like audio logs trying to direct you and help you out. But it's been pretty cool. Like I don't really know what to expect out of it so far as like the whole like driving plot of it, but I've been like progressing with the thing and it's been fun. Like I really fail at parkour, so it's been interesting, but I haven't sucked it up too much. But the puzzle aspect of it is cool, and it's got like a running story as you're doing like the puzzle stuff. So, but it hasn't been too difficult, and graphically, it's a pretty game. It's not over like done on the graphic end. Because it's mostly like, it's a side-scroller, so It's not like 3D. Well, it's got, you can turn the character and stuff like that. But it's done with like silhouettes and these really graphic-looking backgrounds, so it's pretty. But I played it for probably 2 hours last night, but I enjoyed it. It was nice. Planet of the Oz, get it. But it's mostly Starbound that I've been playing, so, and that's no surprise.
If you were to take a guess without actually looking at your Steam account, how many hours have you put into Starbound so far?
I don't even have to guess because I looked not too long ago. It is depressingly large, the amount of hours I have into this game. Like 2,300 plus. Like 2,300.
Okay, this is also including like all the time before the update, right?
Yeah, this is like since I got the game. So it's been...
You've clocked in a lot of time since that release.
Yeah, I don't even think that many hours have passed since they went like 1.0. But yeah, I mean, I've been playing it for a very long time, and I'm pretty OCD about it because I'm a completionist. So like every time they do a patch, and usually when they do a patch, it was like, content would change or progression would change. So I would delete everything and just start over. And then when there was big gaps in between patches because they went inactive for like a year and a half. Over some like drama, but like that's not important. But like during that stint, like I leveled all the characters. So, but yeah, I mean, I've put a lot of hours into the game. I'm not even going to pretend that I haven't.
Would you think it was actually more hours than you put into World of Warcraft?
I don't know because those raids alone were like 14 hours long. But no, like. I got WoW when it came out, and then the year before the kids were born, or the year Star Wars came out, like KOTOR came out. That's when I quit. So
that was like the end of Cataclysm, right?
We got Cataclysm and played it for a week, and then we stopped playing. But I haven't played since Cata. But I mean, it was what 4 or 5 years after Cata.
I don't even know anymore. I stopped keeping track after
Cata was the 4th expansion. Cata was the 4th expansion.
I believe so.
Or no, was it the 3rd? Because there was Burning Crusade and then Lich King.
You might be right.
And then Cata? Or am I missing one? I don't know, but we quit during Cata, so...
There's too many to keep track of anyway.
Yeah. But a lot of hours. I put a lot of time into WoW, and a lot of time into Starbound. But that's why I champion Starbound. Because it's an awesome game. Even through the development where it's been not so awesome, it's still been great. So
And you've actually been saying that from everything you've been reading, No Man's Sky is supposed to be pretty similar to Starbound, you said, right?
Yeah, I mean, the way it reads just like Starbound. It's just graphically prettier. And it's not even that, like, Starbound isn't pretty. It's more, like, cartoony, like, those throwback graphics from, like, when we were younger. Like, I don't know, because I think Starbound is beautiful, especially, like, the backgrounds and stuff. Like, they're really, really pretty. But No Man's Sky, everything I've read about it, like, the procedural, like, generated planet, random everything, random this, random that, like, it's what Starbound is. It's just presented with a different package and a different bow. But it's nothing new to me because I've been playing Starbound for so long.
And I don't know, it just seems like it's a mix between Spore and Elite Dangerous to me.
But that's because you haven't played Starbound. Like, if you played Starbound...
I've watched a fair amount of Starbound when I watched that, 3-hour live stream that you did that first Friday. I think that was a decent amount to get like a general idea of what Starbound was, and it seems so much like Terraria to me. Too much
but
like Terraria.
You only saw one planet. See, that's the thing. You can't say that it's like... I mean, Terraria is one world, so yeah, it's going to be the same thing you see. You only saw one planet and an outpost.
Okay, well, is one planet going to be so vastly different from another planet that's going to be like a completely different game?
Well, it's a completely different planet. It's like the same thing with No Man's Sky. Like, when you go to one planet, it's going to be one thing. And then you go to another planet, it's a different generated planet. Like, it's different. Some planets are similar because you can only, like, code things so randomly for it to make sense. Like, there's some volcanic planets that I've had with snow on it. And it's not supposed to happen, but it does happen. But, like, you know, the ocean planets are mostly just, like, ocean on top, so you don't get these random biomes. But on the lush and forest planets, you'll get like these swampy biomes or a flower biome, and they all randomly happen. It's just like, you know, if we were to colonize other planets as humans, we would look for Earth-type planets, but there would be some variation to those Earth-type planets because they wouldn't all look like Earth. So it's randomly generated, but there's usually some similarities even in the randomness because it's got to make some kind of logical sense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's random and logical mostly at the same time, but I don't know. I think if you played Starbound, you would see what I mean. Because everything I read about it is just Starbound. It screams Starbound.
Well, I mean, if I'm going to be playing No Man's Sky, I don't know if I'm going to try to jump into Starbound at this point, especially if you're saying they're too similar.
I plan on playing No Man's Sky. Like, I want to play it, but, like, I feel like I already know what to expect out of it. Because I've been playing the game for years now. It's just not as pretty. Or it's pretty in a different way.
It seems a little too colorful to me, though, from the videos I've seen. Like, they go a little too overboard with some of the coloration on it. Kind of like they did with, what's his name? Shit. What's the name of that game? The Overwatch clone, pretty much. Help me out here, Oni. Thank you.
What is it?
Battleborn. They went way overboard with the colors in that game. Just to the point where it's like you're worried about people having seizures just from playing the video game.
You like your games to be dark and gritty.
Yeah, it does look really bright. I mean, it's pretty. I
like my games to look like
looks appealing.
The person isn't on a drug trip when they're playing the video game.
That is true.
That's why you have to be on a drug trip while you're playing that said game.
It cancels it out.
Yeah.
Never catch me doing that. Onibaku, what have you been playing the past couple weeks?
I've played some Batman Arkham Knight. I played Clue with you guys last week.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Did you finish Arkham Knight?
No.
No,
I'm only like 3 hours in.
It's definitely a good game.
Yeah, I really enjoy it from what I've been playing. And then I'm still not done with Mass Effect, but I finished all the DLC for the game. So I should be... every time I get a chance to sit down and play it, something comes up. Like some punk spray painted my shop in my truck on Thursday.
That sounds like fun.
Oh yeah, I got them on camera. So I'm on camera doing it. And then they also tagged the VFW, so they're on camera there too. But enough about that, because it just upsets me. So yeah, I also played a few other games on the PS4. But mostly I'm trying to finish Mass Effect. I need to finish Mass Effect 3.
To get ready for the next title?
Not just that, but it's long overdue. I've put it off for too long. I want to finish it. And then I grabbed like a whole bunch of other games off my shelf that I want to finish. Because I find it's not as hard to go back and forth between the PS3 and PS4. Like graphically, it's not that hard. It's not as bad as it was going from like N64 to PS2. That was a big jump to me.
You went straight from the N64 to the PS2?
No. Actually, I went from the N64 to the GameCube and PS2.
Well, that's not too bad.
Yeah. Like that generation, I had all three fairly around. But I think I got the PS2 first. Because I wanted to play Grand Theft Auto 3 so bad. And then when I saw Halo, I needed an Xbox. So.
I remember hearing so much good stuff about Halo and not actually knowing anything about the game, and then I finally went and rented it, and I was hooked from there. Bought every other game for the series when they came out.
Yeah.
I feel like I should have played the campaign on Halo, and maybe I would have liked it, but it was always multiplayer.
God. That's one of the campaigns that it was good for the time, but if you go back and try to play it now, it's just horrendous.
I did do the campaign stuff on Call of Duty, like before Call of Duty went multiplayer crazy, and I used to love the Call of Duty games. I haven't played any since the fourth one, though, I think.
If you were to go and play one for the campaign, in my opinion, I would go back and get...
Not Call of Duty, Medal of Honor.
Oh, Medal of Honor. Yeah. But there was one recently, I don't remember the name of it offhand. I think it was Advanced Warfare that had Kevin Spacey in it.
Yeah,
what?
Advanced Warfare. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like the real Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, the real Kevin Spacey.
They actually did complete motion capture, and it was actually him inside of the video game, so...
That's nuts.
Yeah. I was expecting, like, rose petals to fall down from the sky. And...
I think the very first thing I saw him in was Seven. So I have this, and I love Kevin Spacey, but I have this really, like, skewed vision of him, because every time I see him, it's like, it's him in Seven, so...
Yeah, it was either I either saw him first in Seven or the oh crap, the name of the movie just escaped me. The one where he was the bad guy all along.
Seven.
No, it's another. the Usual Suspects. I think that was it. Usual Suspect. Sorry for those that haven't seen it.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Dun dun dun. Now you know.
Yeah.
Now I feel bad because I'm actually a pretty big Kevin Spacey fan, but
you need to see
amazing.
The Usual Suspects.
I didn't like.
I know
have
he's
to
a
watch
big
it
fan of
I
the
haven't
video game,
watched
so it wasn't really that surprising to see him be a character in one of them eventually.
Yeah,
because if Kevin Spacey wrote him and was like, "I would like to be in your video game," they were like, "We can make this happen." I'm like, who's gonna say no to Kevin Spacey? I'm not gonna say no to Kevin Spacey.
Well, attaching a name like his to your video game is just gonna instantly bring people on board. So. They'd be stupid.
Whatever you want. Whatever you want, sir. Just tell me what role you want to play, and you're here. We'll do it. You're there.
I remember I went to like GameStop for like a game pickup, and the lady behind the desk was like, "Hey, are you gonna get the new Call of Duty?" I was like, no." She's like, "Well, I hear it has a really good actor in it. What's his name?" I was like, "Kevin Spacey," and she's like, "Yeah, I love him so much." She was trying to upsell it to me to like pre-order that damn game.
You said this was GameStop, right?
No, it was GameStop. Yeah.
It's like the pawn shop of gaming.
I probably shouldn't say this because we're actually doing a episode, but I can't stand GameStop.
No, you're allowed to say that. Like, it's not that I can't stand GameStop. It's like I can't take GameStop seriously because it does come off like a pawn shop. Like, I don't know.
It's not so much that as like there's actually been times I've tried to go in there and buy a new video game and they've tried to sell me a used one and I just got tired of it.
That's how they got to make their money. They gotta keep it all.
What I hate, my biggest pet peeve with GameStop is when you go to buy a new game and it's already opened and it has stickers all over the case, and I was like, that's not a new game. I was like, I want a new game. Like, I want it. And the reason why they want you to buy a used one is because then they make 100% of the profit. None of it goes towards to the developer or the publisher.
And you usually get like somewhere between like $5, maybe $20 max if it's like a new title that you try to sell to them, and they sell for $5 another new price for a used game.
Yeah.
I've been raw with them since I got because you know how they sell like old games? They had an original copy of Final Fantasy Tactics. So I picked it up. It was like $40-some. I go to the counter to go pay for it, and dude was like, "This is a really great game." And I swear, and I know this sounds so cliche, but he did say, "Your boyfriend's gonna dig it." So like, I backed up. He did. Like, I got so mad. Like, I didn't say anything. Well, I did, but like the first thing I did, I backed up because I have a Moogle tattoo on my ankle, and like I raised my pant leg up, and I'm like, yeah, he'll probably dig it as much as I do. And like, to be fair, like the dude was embarrassed and he apologized, but I was just like, because if my husband had bought it or like anybody else, there would have been like that. It wouldn't have happened. So, but yeah. I've been like raw with them ever since then. Because the same day I bought like Final Fantasy Origins, like for the PlayStation. That's like 1 and 2, where they did like the remastered like cutscenes.
And did it come with a CD? Like there's a music CD that comes with it.
I don't know if it had the music CD in it, but it like it had the it was just like the remastered cutscenes and jazz, where Yeah,
but it also had a music CD with it.
Well, I think I got gypped because there was no music CD in it, but it was, it had like the jewel case looked beat up. Like whoever had it loved it hard before I got a hold of it. But yeah, I just
curious. Are either of you actually considering picking up the new NES Classic when it comes out?
Yeah, I don't know if I have my pre-order in that.
I'm not even sure if it's available for pre-order. I know they have it up on for like product listings on various websites, but I haven't actually seen it go up for pre-order yet.
Yeah, I want one.
We'll probably end up with one. Like, it's got some good games on it from what I was looking at. Because what killed me when we got the Atari one, it's like a bunch of BS games that nobody really played, and like some of them are broken and don't work. But I was reading the list that they're having, and it's like good games that you want to play. Like, they didn't just like shove the crappy games on it, I guess is what I'm saying. Like,
I was kind of surprised that Tetris wasn't on there.
It may be a licensing thing.
Yeah, Tetris is a hard game. Like, when it comes for the license for it, it's hard to come by. But Tetris was more of a breakout for the Game Boy.
It was still really, really big on the NES, though.
I wouldn't say as big as it was for Game Boy.
Thank you.
Because it was the first. It was the first pack-in title.
I had it, so I had to
I mean, that's one of the few games that we had for the NES that probably spent like 90% of its time inside of the console, even over Mario.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Because my dad used to play the NES all the time, and the only game he really played was Tetris.
I played the poop out of Tetris with my great-grandma. Like, that was one of her favorites, was Tetris. And even, we bought this copy, but it's like, it was only $12.99 getting the old cart, and it's like an original cart, so.
$12.99?
For like the old cart? Brandon never takes the price tags off these things. Like, he really should. But.
I keep
Tetris.
I keep all of my game pickups and everything of what I have in this.
Jesus.
Like if I
gaming.
Yeah, because if I go shopping without this, I will come home and wind up figuring, oh crap, I already have that, Or, oh wow, I already have 3 copies of it. Why did I buy another one? Because I can't remember.
That with you when you go out to look for games?
Yes. I like. It's weird. I like physical. Like, I like physical copies of games, but I would rather have this with me than have it a list on my phone. Because this is a lot easier for me to follow. And it's really neat. Because, like, I can, pull up, like, here's a little, like, it's a little spreadsheet.
And it's, like, organized, so you're not even playing. Like, that's pretty legit crazy.
Yeah.
I need to get Brayden some tabs for his Magic binder. Like, he's got binders with his Magic cards in it. You know, it's like commons, uncommons, it's adorable. That's what I tell him anyway.
Okay, I'm curious, since he collects cards, does he actually only put, like, 1 card in each plastic sleeve, or does he put, like, up to 4 in each one?
I haven't checked, but I think like he should if he's not putting 4 in each one. Like he probably does put at least 4 because I know he was going through and trying to get rid of all the multiples he had of cards, like to give them to the game place he goes to like for store credit or jazz. I think is what he was doing, but he was like keeping at least 4. I know he's got like those cardboard sleeves.
Mm-hmm.
He's got about 30 of those on top of like the 5 binders he's got. So. And then, like, that new expansion for Magic came out, like, a couple weeks ago. Like, I don't remember. I don't know the name. Like, off the top of my head, I'd have to look at the boxes.
I know nothing about Magic.
Oh, my God. Like, a new thing came out, and it's like... And that's what he does the Saturdays we don't do the podcast. He goes and does that. And every Tuesday, he's playing Magic.
I like Magic, but I only like playing with people I know because... I know, like, when I play with other people that I don't know, they'll be like, oh, that's not in the rule book, or that's not tradition. That's not tradition.
He does, like, the tournaments, like, the local ones. Not the, like, I'm going statewide, but, that's what he does with his buddies at the
Oni, were you going for a Francis character there?
No. No, that was a guy that I played against that I didn't really know, and that's how he sounded. That's not tradition.
That totally sounds like Francis.
No, there was a store that opened up at one of the malls close by me, and I was shopping. I was looking for GameCube controllers. Because I wanted to play Smash Brothers Brawl, and I needed another GameCube controller. And I was told they had a wall of them in there. Well, apparently that was for their Melee tournaments. But as soon as I walked in, they were having a Magic tournament. As soon as I walked into that store, I was hit with the smell of, like, BO and sweaty feet of nerds. And I consider myself, like, a nerd, but I take care of myself in the sense of I bathe and put on deodorant. And like it was almost unbearable being in there, and that's probably why I don't do Magic tournaments. Is the smell of people stink. Yeah, it offends me. Like I just
I'll agree with you there.
My nose is very sensitive, especially after I quit smoking. My nose, like smoking cigarettes, my nose is like extremely sensitive. I have like Wolverine heightened senses.
That's very true. I used to think people are crazy when they said that, and then I quit smoking, and like Brayden still smokes. Like he can like, it's like it clings to him.
I can smell it from a mile away. Like I'm like, who lit up a cigarette?
So, have either of you played the Game of Thrones game for Telltale?
Yes,
no, but I see you have.
I just finished it like a half an hour before we were supposed to start tonight.
Was it any good?
I was actually kind of surprised it's not really that bad, with the exception of all the QuickTime events, which I fucking despise.
Oh, really?
I cannot stand QuickTime events ever since I was introduced to them by the game Shenmue for the Dreamcast.
Yeah.
Cannot stand QuickTime events.
Well, all Telltale games have QuickTime events in them.
Yeah, but the only only 2 Telltale games that I've played so far has been like the first episode of The Walking Dead, which I don't think I quite finished the first episode, and of course Game of Thrones. I have a couple of others, like I have the Borderlands game. I have God, what was the name of the other one?
Have you played Wolf Among Us?
I haven't played it. I have it. I haven't played it.
Check it out. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I've been waiting for the right time to do that. This week is definitely not going to be it.
Did you play the first episode of Life is Strange since it went free?
I've actually played the first 2 episodes, I think. I still need to
What?
I'm probably going to have to restart that because it's been a while.
I downloaded the first one. Like, I totally played. I haven't finished it, but it's been pretty good. Even though I think it's the rewind time thing is the way they introduce it is really weird. Like, I think that she should have known that she could do it to begin with, because the way she finds out and like just accept that it's a thing, it's just like it's weird.
Mm-hmm.
But it was pretty good. What I've played of it so far, anyway.
I actually heard that they were considering making a TV series out of the Life is Strange video game.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. It got a lot of hype.
Make it a
and
live
seems really
action.
cool.
Oh, you've actually finished the Game of Thrones game then, right?
Yes. I enjoyed it.
Without like talking about any of the spoilers or anything for the people that haven't played it, what did you think of it?
I thought it was really neat, but I got like the worst ending you can get, and I'm pretty sure I've mentioned that on the podcast before when I finished it, because it was the worst ending you could probably get.
Now, are there actually any different endings that you can get with that, or is it
There
just like
are
some subtle
so
differences?
many different endings you can get.
Because from what I've read,
Serious.
all the choices that you make don't really matter for the ending that you get.
No, I think they matter because, okay, for episode 5, like, your main character can be one of 2 people, because, and at the end of episode 4, I think it's 6 episodes, so, end of episode 5,
Let's tread lightly so we don't spoil anything.
yeah, the end of episode 5, there's a detrimental choice where in episode 6 you play as one of 2 of those characters. There's plenty.
Yeah, there's of course choices you can make that can affect like which characters you play as or which characters you interact with throughout the story. But in terms of like how each chapter actually ends, from what I've seen, your choices don't actually matter.
Up until like the very end, like last episode, the choices that you make for that episode greatly affect the ending of the game. But like a choice you made in episode 1 really isn't going to matter in episode 6.
I don't know. The ending of the game was kind of a letdown for me, but the game.
Well, that's probably because you got a bad ending.
Well, supposedly, if you can't actually get a good ending.
Well, it's Game of Thrones.
There is no happy ending.
Yeah.
And also, it's kind of based off the show, and you never hear anything about House Forrester in the show.
Well, no, they wanted to keep it completely separate from the show. I think the only tie-in is that you actually get to interact with some of the characters.
Yeah, Cersei and Tyrion and Jon Snow.
But even your interactions with those characters don't even play into the show at all.
No, they don't. But
That would be difficult.
yeah, that would be pretty difficult.
Well, it's not like games haven't tried to do that before and failed horribly.
Yeah.
Okay, well, moving on.
Yeah, moving on. What games have you been playing, Chan?
Well, I just talked about Game of Thrones. I played the hell out of that today. I went from, I think I only finished the first 2 chapters before today, and then I went through and finished the last 4 today.
Nice.
So I was pretty much doing that all day today, right up until like getting ready to set up for the podcast. But other than that, the only other game that I've really been playing was Yoshi's Woolly World. And as good as that game is for what it actually is, it's kind of like a side-scrolling platformer. I'm not enjoying it as much as I thought I would.
I think you have issues with side scrollers. Like, I really do.
I think they're just a little outdated for me.
Oh.
I've gotten so used to 3D games now. I mean, I did play a little bit of Super Mario Maker, but again, side-scrolling platformer. Not my thing, I guess.
Like, nope, can't get behind it. It's okay.
Well, I still enjoy it.
Like
I mean, I don't like sitting there and playing it for hours. I don't like I do most other games.
Got you.
But I'm definitely going to be playing a lot more of World of Warcraft coming up this Tuesday, because that's when the Demon Invasions start and the early access for the Demon Hunter. And I, of course, had planned on playing No Man's Sky, but that got delayed for PC by 3 days.
Hey, you know, you should get.
I'm probably going to be right there with you with No Man's Sky. Like, I may not get it the day it releases. But
The day it releases? Because the PC Master Race is getting it August 12th, when the PS4 is getting it August 9th.
Now, since we're actually already on that subject, why don't we go ahead and jump into that particular news topic?
Segway master, yo.
It's so natural when he does it. It's so natural.
The reason why so many people that were getting it for the PC are really upset is because back in 2015 at E3, during the PC Games Conference with Day 9, I believe, was the one hosting it.
In what year?
2015.
Yeah, that's a year ago.
They've already pushed back the release date once. People should not be surprised that it's being delayed yet again.
Well, no,
it's by a small company, and
delayed.
it's 3 days.
During that conference, they said specifically that it was going to be released on the same day for both the PS4 and the PC.
Yep.
And they never changed it up until just like a few days ago. Now,
right.
Supposedly they had listed on their website that it was coming out on the 12th for PC. But the confusion actually started from Steam, GOG, and I believe it was Humble that actually have the game on sale digitally. All had it listed for the release date of the 9th, which was the release date that was actually announced. And I think it's actually listed still for the 9th on Humble right now.
On Twitter, that dude asked that if they were coming out on the same day, and then Hello Games replied with, yes.
Yeah, they can confirmed it again on Twitter. And they've never changed it up until just like a few days ago. They came out and said, okay, we understand there's been some confusion. It's actually coming out on the 12th for PC.
Yeah, so that's...
Alrighty then.
Someone's cat's upset.
No, something just decided to randomly fall over for absolutely no reason at all.
It's the podcast ghost. It's Jay. He's like,
well, it's also an indie developer.
I don't know if you could really consider them an indie developer anymore. I mean, they are a small team, but they are producing a AAA game now.
So so maybe the one developer is also their PR rep at the same time. So he might be a little in over his head.
I think the hype for it is, like that, since we're talking about it, that guy who's already made it to the center of the universe, and people are like, that's all you did, and he was like, no, I did other stuff.
Well, he did come out and admit that he found one particular item that was easy to farm and sold for a ridiculous amount, and he was able to obtain it over and over again to buy better stuff to get to the center quickly.
See, it's still like, I know, and they were talking about that's what they were trying to fix for the PC version anyway, with the big patch.
Yeah, quickly. Didn't that take 30 hours to do, though?
Yeah, but
with the item that he was getting and farming repeatedly, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Well, still, 30 hours in a video game is you're still getting your money's worth out of 30 hours.
Even these, hello, that's why, because Starbound introduced a primary quest line. I don't know, are there quests in No Man's Sky? I know I keep going back to Starbound, but I'm going to. I can't help it. But I haven't read anything about any kind of quest system or anything like that. Our primary quest is just kind of like a sandbox, and you're out there, and is there a game to No Man's Sky? I'm sure there has to be some kind of,
There's got to be something in there, because I know there's actually different factions that you can interact with inside with, but they haven't gone into any solid details that I have seen, but I haven't really been doing a whole lot of digging because I don't want to spoil the game for myself.
Yeah, my main thing is the game crossplay between PS4 and PC users.
I've actually seen conflicting reports. Some people are saying that they're completely separate, and some people are saying they're not. And
Yeah,
that's part of the thing that's getting people upset is they think PS4 players are going to get a 3-day head start on naming everything.
Yes. Well, the thing is, there's also how many quadrillion planets there are.
That's what I think that's what confuses me as far as like the naming jazz goes.
Yes.
Like, is it just one universe everybody playing shares?
Yeah.
Well, that is ridiculous.
Well, I also don't know if they're starting every player in like a different point in the galaxy either. I'm hoping they are.
It's ridiculous. I don't know. Like,
well, from what I heard,
they should have their own like separate servers because there's some people I want to play with. I want to play games with online, but then there's other people I don't want to play games with online.
Well, I heard it's going to be. There's no actual online multiplayer. It's just a shared database, pretty much.
Then that is even more ridiculous.
I heard it would be very hard and or improbable to run into another player with how big the game is.
Yeah, but you in theory could. Like, say you flew out and then you get to this planet and you see somebody else has already been there. So you basically wasted ship fuel going to this planet somebody else has already discovered that you don't even know. And they just set up a flag and said, "Hey, I found it."
Well, they don't even have to set up a flag. They just do a scan, and pretty much everything they find, they have to actually go to a particular upload point and upload the data from there. And I think if you die before you do that, you lose all that information.
I don't know. It just seems like, at least on the multiplayer end, it seems seriously flawed. Like, I would just play single player anyway, because I wouldn't want people screwing with my crap.
I think it sounds interesting, but with anything, I will not get my hopes up.
Until you've played it.
Yeah, well, the thing is, anytime I get my hopes up, I'm disappointed. So, it's better to just take it as it is for what I know. I'm just looking at it as a space exploration simulator.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I see it is right now.
So, if it has no story, that's cool. Like, if I just want to chill out and fly my starship to a planet and be like, ooh, it's pretty here, let me mine a rock, okay, I'm done here. Or, oh, wow, that creature looks weird, I wonder if I can shoot it and, scan it or something and put it in, my little journal and be like, well, I'll never see something like that again. Or go to a planet and make an entire race of species extinct. Those are my kind.
Bastard.
Hey, I get it. You make the game yourself.
Yeah, and that's what I'm hoping that it's kind of like, but.
No, I'm hoping there's a central story arc to it, but definitely going around and making your own story as you go as well.
I know a game you can do both of that in. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Hey, Chan, that would be a good idea to stream that game on Twitch with your own story.
I was actually planning on doing live streams for it, but if it's going to be the same universe between PS4 and PC, it's going to kind of depend on where I start. If I started in the same place as another player, it's not going to be as interesting then.
Yeah, you can be Captain Chan. We'll have to answer to Admiral Oracle.
I'll probably just be playing single player if other people discovering things is gonna affect my gameplay.
Well, there is no actual single player. It's just the game as it is.
Yeah, but it's very.
Because I thought the controversy before was it was all single player and people were mad there was no multiplayer. Now it's multiplayer, but it's
no, there's no actual multiplayer that we know of right now. It's all single player, but everything that you discover gets uploaded to a database that's shared with all the other players. Just like Spore.
That is the most ridiculous. No. Because even with Spore, it was still my map. Even if somebody else's information was put on a planet, the planet was still fresh when I got there. Nobody went and took anything or destroyed a system. I could still go to war with that planet, even though it had other people's created items on it. If somebody
we don't know
goes...
if you can completely clean out a complete race like Oni was actually suggesting earlier. I don't know if say it was boring.
But the way you're talking though, because in Spore you could completely blow up a planet.
Yeah, but
destroy it.
The best part of Spore was making a creature that looked like a penis.
But you know what I mean,
the
shared information on Spore was just what you created. They used items you created to put in other people's games. That's what it was.
Speaking of which, I remember running into the race that you created, and they were dicks.
I made like a bunch of carnival races that were like mean. But
I mean, I
I'm
showed
just
up at
saying,
their
like-
planet, and they just tried to blow me up instantly. I'm just like, you fuckers.
they're mean. Because like I liked playing the space so I could just go to war and kill people because it made things easier. You didn't have to trade with them. You could just destroy them and take their planet. So I did that a lot. So that's probably why you ran into a bunch of mean races by me. But like, it's a different scenario with No Man's Sky though. Like if I spent 20 hours playing and we were in the same sector of the universe, like it affects your map. It'd be like me sitting down to play like Final Fantasy VII, and then when you loaded up Final Fantasy VII, I already had half the game completed, and I did that for you. Like when you loaded it up, it was my save file you were playing. Does that make any sense to you? That's what I'm trying to express here. That like it doesn't seem like that's the way their multiplayer system is going to work, because if it does work that way, it's going to be terrible.
Well, like Onibaku said, they've said the chances of you actually running into another player are actually pretty much slim to none, with as vast as the galaxy actually is. But we'll see if that's going to be true or not.
We'll see.
Even the same with planets. Like it can be rare to run into another. Like especially in the early days of the game, it might be rare to run into another person's planet.
I saw their number, but like they get so many million people playing this game, like the probability of running into people is going to be a lot greater than what their figures are. I mean, look at the mess that Pokemon Go is going through right now.
Yeah, just watch
their
God.
anticipation is like
Segway.
what? I'm just saying, you can't like.
Okay, so what are we gonna tackle with the whole Pokemon Go?
It's a hot mess. That's pretty much what everything you're reading right now.
I wouldn't say it's like a hot mess, because I noticed that it's a lot more stable than when it came out.
Let me tell you this. My kid sat down on the couch the other day and he wanted to play Pokeball Go is what he calls it. Like, it's on my tablet. I go to update it because it tells me I have to update it. It won't let me update it because it tells me it's already installed. And I'm like trying to update it. And it says that it's already there, but it's not, because it keeps telling me I need to update it. So, I was like, I'll uninstall it and reinstall it, and it'll fix this problem. But it's telling me that my tablet is not compatible for the game, and won't let me download it, even though it still says that it's installed, and it's not installed anymore. Like, it is not there at all. But the Google Store still says it's installed. But it tells me that it's not compatible. Even though it'll still let me install it. Like, the button is there. Mm-hmm. It just keeps telling me it's installed and it's not compatible. Like, it's telling me 3 different things every time I try to update it. So, he's been playing Fruit Ninja. Like, he really wanted to play Pokeball Go, but he can't.
I say with the changes that they implemented, the game's been running a lot more stable than me on an iPhone 5S.
I mean, is it... Can you even track Pokemon in that game anymore?
Well, the thing is, tracking in general, like I try to relate to it as in like in the original Pokemon games, there was no like tracking. It was more of you go to
walking around random grass.
Yeah, and then you'll notice and take into account what pops up in that area.
Yeah, but you have to also consider you weren't actually walking around in the real world while you were playing that old game, too.
No.
Yeah.
No. But
I really think the time difference is so people who are playing it while they were driving, like, to deter people from doing that. Because the way
I did notice that, because I drive around for a living, and I'll pop it up when I know where I'm at, so I don't need to use my GPS, and it used to be where I would see, like, something pop up while I was driving 50 miles an hour. And, like, I would just hear it pop up. And, glance over and be like, it's a Pidgey. And then just keep going.
It's a Pidgey. You don't need to pull over for that one.
Yeah, I don't need to pull over for Pidgey. But the main thing that I notice now with the changes is if I stop at, like, a red light, and I've been driving for quite some time, then it'll be boom, and then I'll have like 8 Pokemon surrounding me. And be like, oh, well. So I don't really play when I drive. It's more to take into account like what shows up where. And the only time I will pull over is when I'm in like a housing development or something like that, and I'll pull over to catch something.
Well, there's just been so many things they've done over the past couple of weeks. They issued cease and desist orders to a bunch of the third-party Pokemon tracking apps that were actually helping people actually track where these Pokemon were so they could go out and catch them.
Yeah, but it also helped a lot of people cheat, too. Not
the tracking apps.
Yeah, a tracking app, I mean, it tells you where these Pokemon are, so you know where to go. Like, it's supposed to be, like, you know...
In addition to that, they removed the actual tracking system that was actually in the game, so there's no actual way to track Pokemon anymore.
It never worked to begin with.
Oh, it worked, just people didn't really know how to use it.
No, even the feet thing... Like, you know, where it shows how many feet distance away.
Mm-hmm.
I live in, like, a rural area in Kentucky, and they're all 3 for me. They've always been that way. So that bug people are talking about, that has been my complete Pokemon Go experience since I downloaded the game when it first came out.
There's also been talk of another bug in the game that's actually made Pokemon more difficult to catch when you run into them because of the way they knock the Pokeball away or they run away fast.
I don't think that's a bug.
Well,
I think that's intentional.
Been talking about it like it is a bug, but...
Nah, I don't know. Like, I'm like, even the guy who wrote the article, like, he was like, we're pretty sure they're doing it just to get your money. And, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, it's a free app.
That's one of the ways they make their money. And the Pokestops is the only other place you can get the Pokeballs for free. So, if they make them harder to catch, you're going to need more Pokeballs. So, if they make the ratio of Pokeballs to catch to whatever, you know... then you're going to need to buy them.
Yeah, but forcing people to pay for something in a free-to-play game is not the way to go.
But almost any other app has done that. Like the Sims free play game, there was a point in the game to where I needed a specific like item that you had to buy to get, or you'd get it through questing. Well, the quest I was on required one, and I'd already used them in other quests. So the only way for me to get the item I needed to complete the quest to progress in the game was to pay to get the thing, because there was no other way to get it.
Well, I mean,
the general uninstall.
The general gist of what I'm going for right now is I think Niantic has pretty much shot themselves in the foot because they had their player base. I mean, they didn't have any reason to go and screw things up as bad as they did over the past couple of weeks. I mean, even the reviews on both the iOS and Android right now have plummeted down to like 1.5 to 2 from what I've seen, which is sad considering how well it did at first.
I think it was still 5 stars on Google, but like, again, it could be messed up because
I think it might be a vocal minority because the game was freaking broken before it even came out. It was broken. It was almost unplayable, and what was there was just bare bones minimum, but it was still fun for being what it was.
I really think if they like went with a more traditional Pokemon game and made it so like made it work off a pedometer, so your steps as you actually walked, not GPS involved, but like as you actually walked, you would discover Pokemon, like, you know, how they would randomly pop up. And then, like, you had to walk so many, like, steps to a gym or so many steps to a Pokemon stop. And, like, if they made it work off the pedometer, instead of locking it in to GPS locations around the real world, I think it would work better overall. And it would open it up to people who, you know, don't really want to get out of their living room. Or, you know, don't really want to go... Because there is no Pokemon stops or gyms anywhere near me. Like, I have to go, like, at least a half hour away to get any of those things. And it makes it so I can't play the game.
Well, what it's trying to tell you is you need to move to...
Yes.
And you can't attach it to your ceiling fan to hatch your eggs and things like that.
Yeah, like, I haven't even got an egg. Like, I'm level 5, and I can't pick a team because you have to go to a gym to get a team for us. And, like, I'm stuck on no team because I can't choose. I'm not driving a half an hour away just to click a button to say, you know, I'm on Team Mystic or I'm on Team Valor or whatever. Like, it's ridiculous to me to have to go a half hour out of my way in order to play a game that I can play, you know, I don't know.
I live in a relatively small town, And there's 4 gyms within a 2-block radius of my house.
Yeah. I could turn my thing on and you could I could hold it up and show you. It's dead space. You know those little white blocks? It's I consider them paper blowing in the wind. That's how vacant everything is around me. There is nothing. I can turn this thing. There's a fire station and everything. I'm I live right next to a fire station. Surely it's got to be a gym or a Pokestop. Nope. It's nothing.
Well, there's also
you could suggest.
Oh, I did. Don't think I didn't.
What I also enjoy is there's a close by me. There's 5 Pokestops within 2 blocks, and you can walk from one to the last one, and the 5 minutes is up, and you just keep walking back and forth to farm what you need.
I don't know. I feel like I need to get up and turn my tablet on so you can see the dead space. Well, I couldn't even get to load because I installed it.
I think you need to move.
It's but I shouldn't have to move to play Pokemon. And it's
the fried chicken where you're at isn't worth it because there's a KFC up here.
It's mostly for my kids though, because my kids really want to play it, and I can't.
You know what? That's when you get an old school Game Boy. Pop in Pokemon Yellow, Blue, or Red. Be here.
They've been playing Pokemon on
Game Boy for that anymore. You can get it on the Virtual Console for both the 3DS and I think on the Wii U too. Now can you?
I don't know, but they've been playing it on Roblox. I think there's he was playing something because he's look,
I just turned the game on and a shoulder popped up. But it's hard to see on the camera.
I can see the line coming off
on
of
the podcast.
I can see the line coming up.
Hell yeah!
But Jack was playing some kind of Pokemon because he was battling he was Charizard or Charmander, whichever one the baby one is. Charmander?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the baby one? Yeah. He was Charmander and he was fighting a Squirtle, and and he's 3. He's look, mommy, Charizard, and he thinks everything's Charizard. So, but yeah, I mean they play it somehow, but. I'm telling you, these kids, they have their own laptops, and they download these games, and I'm how did you people figure this out? You're 3. You're not even supposed to be you pick your nose, and you think boogers taste great, and you can work at laptop. When I was 3, I couldn't do this. But you know what I mean? They're 3. There's grown people that don't know how to do that, and they do it.
What, pick their boogers and eat them?
No, function with a laptop.
I know what you're talking about.
That's what I mean, though. They think boogers taste great, and here they are, tech whiz at 3 years old. I don't know. Craziness.
Oh, slightly new news topic. Niantic takes away legendary Pokemon from Pokemon Go players.
Yeah, players that cheated.
That's the general gist of things from what I was reading from the articles is they supposedly cheated to get the Pokemon, or there was some kind of bug that allowed them to get the Pokemon, and they tried to pass it off as Niantic actually giving them the Pokemon from when they filed a support ticket or something like that, and they didn't pass with anybody.
Yeah, because that ain't gonna happen. I was we're sorry you're having troubles. Here's some legendary Pokemon. Because if that's the case, and they owe
yeah, everybody's gonna be submitting tickets and try to get these legendary Pokemon. No.
I mean, just look up what trends on Twitch when they play Pokemon Go. They only want to watch people that are cheating and going and
people are streaming Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
The kids they watch this FGTV on YouTube, and they love it, by the way. And they even the regular gamers that aren't streamers, they're all playing Pokemon Go and doing let's plays of Pokemon Go. It is crazy.
Well, I think we've talked about Pokemon Go enough, but
that's enough Pokemon. Have you played it yet?
Have I played it?
Yeah.
I mean, I played it the first day that it came out. I just don't care for it. I reached level 5 and I joined Team Mystic, but enough.
Fuck
Pokemon
you,
see, but you have a gym. You have a gym close to your house, though, because that's the only way you can join.
Yeah, it's 3 blocks away from me, and I think I have 3 other Pokestops that are actually within range of my screen.
My team owns everything by me.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but nobody likes your team.
Who are you on? Instinct? The one everybody makes fun of?
I'm on Valor.
Oh, okay. Then you're fine.
Ones that control the most gyms in the U.S. in the world, apparently.
Everybody,
I thought that was actually
everybody
Mystic.
everybody who plays, everybody on the
Mystic, I
cast
think,
of
has the most
Pokemon-
players.
Everybody on the cast of Pokemon is apparently on Team Mystic, according to like the chick that voices Ash. Like she said, they were all on Team Mystic.
Yeah, it's a new chick that voices Ash. It's not the same one. They fired him.
They said new, but she's been doing it since she was 19, like since like 2005, I think. Like I looked it up. It's been a while. Like she's not new. She's been doing it for a few
It hasn't
years.
been since 2005. It was recent.
I will Google it.
It was when they went to X and Y, I believe.
I will Google it again. But it's been a while. Oh, he's like, let's change this topic of Pokemon. It has been at least 5 years.
So, Chan, did you get the new Xbox One S?
No, but my nephew wants it after he told me that he didn't, so that's going to be another expense coming up soon.
Because you're a good uncle.
I spoil my nephews and my niece. What can I say?
Really?
But he moved out of his
Tyler
mom's
wants
house.
to be adopted into your family now.
He moved out of his mom's house when he turned 18 recently, and he wanted to take the Xbox that I got for him and his brother for Christmas a couple years back. And of course, his mother said no, and he wanted me to like kind of overrule that decision, which I can't. Even if I wanted to, or excuse me, even if I could, I wouldn't do it because I got it for both him and his brother. But I gave him the option of me picking him up another console when he moved out, but he would have to wait a couple months because I told him I was going to get him the Xbox One S, and it wasn't available at the time. He told me that he didn't want it then. I think it's just because he didn't want to wait for it to come out, and he planned on buying it when he got a job. And I know he has a job now, but he came over just like the other day, sent me a message on Facebook asking when he was going to get the console, so I was like, what?
Does he have a
This
4K
isn't
TV?
No, he doesn't have a 4K TV. I'm not even sure if he has an HD TV right now.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it would be worth to get the 1S unless you have a 4K TV or unless you want to collect every single iteration of the Xbox One.
I mean, it's better than the original Xbox, in my opinion, so I'd still want to get him the Xbox One S over the original Xbox One.
I think it will last longer. I think it looks better.
There's some quality of life
white.
improvements on it as well, like the actual mechanical buttons for the disc eject and the power button on the console are both mechanical buttons.
Yeah.
But you can't hook the Kinect up to it.
He doesn't even use the Kinect. I mean, that would be a problem for me since I actually use some of the voice commands for like media stuff, but I mean, that's one of the reasons I'm not picking it up is in part I don't want to pay another $400 for an Xbox One now when I plan on getting the Xbox Scorpio next year when it comes out for the holiday season.
Scorpio.
I just think it's all silly. It's all so silly. Like, I do, like, that's my pet peeve that with the, like, PlayStation 4 is that it has no buttons, like, real buttons on it. I'm like, why can't you just give me a button to push, man?
I mean, that's one of the things I love about the new design is because there's been so many times I've been trying to move the console around and I've touched that damn power button and either shut off or turn on the console when I didn't mean to.
I know, it's frustrating.
Why are you
like,
trying to move the console while it's running?
When I need to get around to the power brick or I need to plug something in.
Because if you have a disc in there, you could screw it up.
Not by moving it over a couple inches.
They recommend not to touch and move
Well,
the
yeah,
console
you
when
gotta
it's
get
running.
serious.
This is, of
Yeah,
course,
you really
Microsoft. I've owned a bunch of consoles, honey. I know the deal with all this shit.
He's like, don't scold
I'm
me.
not like, I'll flip it up on its side or anything like that. I'm not going to pick it up and move it around. I'm just
Have
you ever
sliding
moved-
over a couple of inches.
I do think it's funny they were trying to compare it to the size of the PlayStation 4, and it was like,
I
if they
don't
turned
know.
it the other way, it's about the same size. Like, really? It's not that much smaller than the PlayStation 4.
If you're going to compare it to anything, just compare it to the original Xbox. They're saying
Oh, I
it's
know, but I
40%
mean, like,
smaller than
size-wise,
that.
they're comparing
Yeah.
sizes. So in that one, you can tell one's laying horizontal and one's laying, like, vertical, and it's like, I'm not an idiot. I can tell.
But what I find funny is when it comes to technology, apparently smaller's better, but when it comes to male genitalia,
Why are we going there?
Because it's Oni. That's not
because they
true.
keep comparing
Why are we going
sizes.
there?
That's not true, though. That's not true. I watched a documentary the other day that explained why. The reverse is true. I'm not even lying. But we should get back on to, like, the gaming discussion.
Yeah, comparing
Size
sizes.
matters.
Alright, Keel, why don't you go ahead and pick up the next news topic for us?
You're gonna make me look. I think this would be easier if you just like listed them and we just discussed them.
Put more work on me. I mean, I picked all the news topics out.
Well, I know, but you could be like, now we're gonna talk about this. Oh, that guy that ran his car into that game studio.
Yeah.
When I read that, I'm like, surely this is a satire, or this is like a PSI, and like Josh isn't paying attention. And I like looked, and it seems very legit to me. So
apparently, alcohol was involved, though.
Maple Story, I think, is what it said.
Yeah.
I mean, of all the games to ruin your life, Maple Story.
Maple Story. Yeah.
I wasn't too surprised. Well, what surprised me is they said alcohol is involved, not that he's an Asian driver.
Okay. But I'm dumb. He's from China, but he was staying with his brother-in-law in South Korea.
Yeah.
That's what it said. And not that you can't be Korean or, and live in China. It was just like, the story just kept getting weird. Like, as I was reading it, I was like, this can't be legit. Like, this doesn't really happen. I looked, though. Like, it happened. Maple Story. Don't play Maple Story, kids, and don't drink alcohol. That's the lesson I took away from that news article. He rammed his brother-in-law.
Don't read news on Destructoid, apparently, because you'll read articles like that one.
Yes! Yeah. It's crazy. Crazy. I mean, it was entertaining, because the whole time I was like, no, this didn't happen. This did not really happen. And I tried real hard. To like confirm that it didn't happen,
yeah,
but from all I could tell,
the date and make sure it wasn't April Fool's Day. I mean, maybe I slept for half a year or something.
But I'm pretty sure it's legit. But it seemed really like it's one of those things like you don't believe it unless you were there to witness it, I guess, because of all the games. But there has been like other weird stuff that people have done for video game's sake. So like I'm not ruling this thing out. I was legit. And I do like how your commentary on the side is just like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, there was nothing I could add to that was going to make it a little even more humorous than it already was. So
I know. It was perfect. It's perfect.
But on to the next news topic, Nintendo NX, a mobile/console hybrid, not yet officially confirmed by Nintendo. So what do you guys think about that?
The one with like the tearaway controllers?
Yeah, it's supposedly supposed to look a lot like the Nintendo Wii U gamepad. Just detachable controllers off the side, and it's the actual console itself is the controller. Yeah.
I think it's neat. Like, I really think a lot of the like portable games, like in the past, should have had like the AV jacks to plug into computers or the TV. And I know that like when we were younger, it may have been more difficult, but like when you're home and you want to play your handheld, like my PSP. Which I think you can do that. I just haven't done it. But it'd be so much handier, like, easier if I could just play it on the big, especially with, like, Crisis Core. But
yeah, if you have a PSP 2000 or 3000, you can hook it up to...
I think I have, like, one of the originals, so that's
you can't do it with the original.
But yeah, like, I like that you can hook it up to a TV and play it, and I like that there are detachable, like... controllers, but it seems like it's going to be weird because it's like you need both controllers to play. So
now, the
it's
reason
going to be
it has detachable controllers is for their VR support coming down the road. So they kind of act like motion controls.
That would make sense. That would be really cool.
I think it's still too early and it's all more speculation.
Well, this is all like it hasn't really been confirmed by Nintendo because they say there's something that hasn't been talked about yet that's tied in with the console.
Well, what surprises me is it's August, and this thing's supposed to come out in March.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. There's something specific with the console that they don't want to talk about because they're afraid some of their competitors will rip it off. Yeah. So they're trying to keep it all under the wraps.
So what I hear is that they're not going to say anything about it until about September.
I mean, that's still in time to actually get a bunch of decent pre-orders out and to know how much supply and demand they're going to need coming up to March. But, I mean, I don't remember a console in recent history that's waited this long to give any official details. It seems like a weird decision for them, but I can kind of understand it.
It might be a virtual reality system that they're working on. And I'm not talking about, like, the VR boy or whatever it was. You know what I'm talking about? Like, that was Wasn't that Nintendo?
And I highly doubt that Microsoft or Sony are going to rip it off until they see that it's successful.
Yeah, but this is Nintendo. They're paranoid.
Well, Nintendo... I don't think Nintendo is trying to compete against Microsoft and Sony. Nintendo is kind of their only...
I mean, they're trying to dominate the handheld market, which they already do.
Yeah, they already do. Like, no one can touch the handheld market. I mean...
I think Sony did
I love my
great
PlayStation
with
Vita. What's that?
I didn't have a Vita, but I think that, like, the PSP, I loved it. Like,
oh yeah, I loved it too. Even though, like, you know, when I had to wait for it to load for half an hour just to play, like, 5 minutes of gameplay. Other than that, and also the UMDs of being able to watch, like, DVD quality things on the go, because I didn't have a portable DVD player, and when I went away to my cabin in the woods, it was, you know, great to watch Evil Dead on my PSP in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Made it feel like I was a part of the movie.
But they really, but like Nintendo really has like, they can get the gimmicky stuff down. I think like with the Wii, like when it first came out, like it was its own original thing, and then like PlayStation and Xbox started doing their like the Xbox had that magic wand, or was it PlayStation that had that magic wand?
PlayStation Move. I have the lollipop controllers right over there.
Yeah, it's like. They tried to like do that, and it kind of missed the mark. So like,
have you ever tried playing in the dark? Because it looks like you're in a rave when you're swinging them around.
No, like I don't have the magic wand. We have PlayStation 4, but I don't have that jazz. Like we had a Wii, and I traded it with my brother for his PlayStation 3. But I do like that they're good at reinventing a system. I think Nintendo is good at that.
Well, I think the Wii U itself is actually a pretty decent console. They just didn't have the third-party support to actually make it take off.
I don't get, like, I guess it's because I don't have one. Like, the Wii I get. It makes sense to me. But, like, with the Wii U, it's like, it is a console, but it's a portable, too. And I'm like...
No, it's not really a portable console. It has a portable controller.
But the controller... But, yeah, that's what I mean, though. Like, it looks like it's really big. And
it's part of their gimmick for that console is it's a wireless controller that you can actually use as a screen so long as you're actually within range of the console itself.
That's what I mean, though. Like, why is that even necessary? Why have a clunky controller when you don't have to have a clunky controller?
It's not really that clunky. It's fairly comfortable.
Well, yeah. I mean, once you actually get used to it, it means it's hard to adapt to it.
Like, your hands are far away. Like, that takes a little bit of getting used to.
What was the Sega Portable? That's what it reminds me of.
What, a Game Gear?
Yes. Like, it reminded me when I saw it.
So much, it's bigger than the Game Gear.
It's bigger than a Game Gear.
It's way bigger than a Game Gear.
It's like, so it's even worse than what I imagined in my head.
Now. I actually have the controller itself. You need to get a sense of the size.
Well, it's going to be, like, delayed on the
We're going back to comparing sizes.
And yes, he is. But, I mean, I don't know, like, it just seemed to me like they took a Game Gear and said this is a controller, but you're telling me it's even bigger than a Game Gear.
It's way bigger than a Game Gear.
Then it's worse in my head than what I was thinking.
Well, okay,
but, I mean,
just to get an idea, I mean, the NX controller itself, the console itself, is supposed to, well, in theory, it's supposed to look a lot like the Wii U gamepad, Jesus. But it's supposed to be just a little bit larger because it's supposed to have a larger screen and have the detachable controllers on each side.
Like, I've seen, the FGTV kids with the Wii U controller, like, playing. I'm sorry, because the kids watch it, but, it just seems way too big to me. Like, I don't have it, so I'm not putting any prejudice on the game, but from, like, an outside opinion, just looking at it, it looks like it would be really difficult to get, the hang of, or it'd take some time to get the hang of. And
I think the Wii U failed because the marketing on it sucked. The name sucked.
Well, I mean, they should have definitely chosen a different name from it because people had just thought it was the same thing as the Wii. Just a slightly upgraded version of it, and it's not. It's a completely different console.
Well, they thought it was pretty much just a controller for the Wii with a screen on it.
Well, aren't the other controllers you can get for it Wii controllers? Like,
you can use some of the Wii controllers with it, but I mean, it has its own controller set.
Yeah,
but all the Wii controllers are backwards compatible to it.
So, like, the retro Wii controller you could get, like, that's an actual, like, it works with...
Well, I mean, you can get them, but they don't work with all games.
Well, yeah, but they didn't work with all games before. Like,
the regular Wii controller, I think it has to have the Motion Plus technology built in to be able to use it.
Yeah, and to use those, you actually had to attach the sensor bar to the console as well.
I mean, I love, like the regular Wii. Like, I really loved it. Like, if it wasn't for my brother being calling and being like, I need a Wii and I have a PlayStation 3, you want to trade? Because, like, really, like, if you didn't have a PlayStation 3 and somebody was like, I'll trade you, your Wii for my PlayStation, you'd be like, yeah, okay. Like,
I wouldn't say I loved the Wii. I kind of didn't like the Wii.
I loved it, but only in that, like, when people came over, it was always like...
Well, yeah, it's a neat little party system if you want to play Wii Sports.
Or, like, I mean, even
for someone that has no friends...
the Zelda game for it wasn't bad. Like,
no, it was good, but it was also on the GameCube.
No, there was one that came out specifically for the Wii.
Yeah, Skyward Sword.
Well, yeah, Skyward. No. Yeah, that one sucked too.
Is that the name of it?
Mm-hmm.
No, you mean Twilight Princess?
That was for the GameCube that they released an HD version for the Wii U.
It wasn't Twilight Princess. It was the one that they made because it had the fishing mechanic in it.
That was Skyward Sword, I believe.
Yeah, Skyward Sword.
That's the one that I played, and I liked it. I enjoyed it.
You like bomb bowling?
Bomb bowling? I don't think maybe I got that. I didn't beat it. Like, I should probably clarify, I didn't beat the game. I played it. I didn't beat it.
I still need to go back and finish Twilight Princess. I got like at least 2/3 of the way through that game. Should probably try to do that before Tuesday.
I did play Twilight Princess too.
But
I don't know. Like, the Wii itself, I didn't think there was anything wrong with it. But the Wii U, I just couldn't wrap my head around. Like, it didn't seem any different.
I can think of a few things wrong with the Wii U. I mean, the Wii.
The graphics?
That's one. Two is, for like a single-player experience, sometimes you don't really want to use motion controls if you want to relax.
That's true.
After working.
And that was definitely one of the things that killed me with that was the
But you had those games where you use the retro controller and to play, like, other games with. Like, you didn't have to play retro games.
You just got a new console. I don't want to play 2D games on a brand new console. Well, I want something that wows me.
I get you.
Well, the thing with the graphics with the Wii that kind of killed me is I went from playing, like, Guitar Hero on something like the Xbox 360, and then I went over and played my nephew's version of it for the Wii. It looked
They had that
horrendous.
for the Wii?
Uh-huh. They had guitar controllers that you actually had to stick the Wiimote into the guitar.
Oh, yeah.
To play.
Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about.
But the graphics in comparison just looked completely shitty. It was just horrendous.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's some games on the Wii that I like. To me, it always comes down to what games are on it.
Yeah, that one, like, surgeon game you could play, I had it, and it was fun. Like, it made sense with the motion control. It wasn't Surgeon Simulator, like, it had a proper name.
What?
It was something hospital, but it's like an anime.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I had it.
Ego Raptor did a cartoon on it.
It was a pretty decent game. I liked it.
Ego Raptor, there's a name I haven't heard for a while. Not since Metal Gear Awesome.
But I have always been like a PlayStation fangirl as far as that goes. Like
Trauma Center.
Yes, there you go. Yeah. It wasn't bad.
Oh, it looked interesting. I was hoping for like a DS version.
Why don't you go and pick the next news topic for us?
Well, it looks like Lucasfilm is trying to get rid of what?
I didn't even remember they had a Lucasfilm project or season news topic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that Galaxy.
Galaxy in Turmoil.
Yeah.
Which was a game in development from Frontware Games. Looks like it should have been the Battlefront we should have gotten. It's the Battlefront we deserved.
From what I understand, it was actually originally Battlefront 3 that got canceled by Lucasfilm. So they picked it up, and they were trying to make a game out of it, using all the stuff from the original game that they actually had available at the time. Lucasfilm pretty much said, okay, you got to take the name Star Wars out of it, and you have to remove all the assets from the game.
Yeah.
The way I look at it, though, is if that game requires the Star Wars name and like the Star Wars jazz in it to stand on its own two legs, then
make it Spaceballs.
That's actually been said in some of the comments for.
Yeah, like I saw that, but like I feel like this is probably the best thing that could probably happen for this development team because they're going to have their own thing now. So if this thing is great, then they have their own franchise.
I mean, as things go, it was a really civil outcome for it, but it's still kind of disappointing for all the Star Wars fans that were really looking forward to like a Battlefront 3 game.
But it's still like all they're doing is removing the Star Wars out of the game.
Yeah,
and all the assets.
I mean, as the game itself, it's probably going to be the same as it would be, but I mean, the assets themselves. Yeah, I mean, the assets itself though is what makes the game for a lot of people.
Yeah, but you can have a lightsaber without calling it a lightsaber. Like I have a lightsaber in Starbound.
I mean,
I have a lightsaber
that might not
in
fly
Terraria.
with Lucasfilm.
For those of us without an imagination, a lot of the times when a game has Star Wars in the title, we will buy it for that kind of Star Wars experience.
I get that, but it's ridiculous to me that
Or
it could
if
be
it's a
the
game that has
exact
Star Wars in the title, we will avoid
game.
it like the plague.
Like it can be the exact same game, but you slap Star Wars on it, and people come running to get it, and like this is awesome. But the minute you take that Star Wars label off, like this sucks. This is the stupidest, crappiest game ever.
Or no, or they'll be like, that looks cool. If only it could, it looks like Star Wars. If only it was Star Wars.
But it's ridiculous to me. That's what I'm saying. Like, if this game is good, it's going to be good. And people that were excited about this Battlefront 3, because I have like the one for the PS4. I have Battlefront for PS4. But like, if it's just the Star Wars name that's going to get you to play it, like I feel that says a lot about you.
License
not
it.
the game.
No, I'm not saying about me, but in general, when it comes
you in the
to
grand scheme, and
a majority of like a mother that walks into GameStop, she's not going to buy this game for her kid because he likes Star Wars and it doesn't have Star Wars on the title. She's most likely going to skip past this.
Yeah, but like an interesting.
Oh, that's some Star Wars ripoff.
But an interesting. People shouldn't look at it that way though. Like an interesting Star Wars.
Yeah, they probably store though.
They probably shouldn't.
I know, but my point here is like an interest in Star Wars should be like a springboard for that genre. Like I like Star Trek. I don't hate Star Wars. Like I'm not a fan of the general like.
Yeah, why am I even talking about Star Wars with you? You never even saw the movies.
It's the Sky. Yes, I have. I've saw the movies.
Dear.
It's the Skywalker story that I'm not really a fan of. Like the Darth Bane stuff and like some of the other stuff that is no longer canon. Those were great.
You like Extended Universe?
Yes, and like the KOTOR games were amazing. It's the Skywalker story that I'm not fond of, and they keep beating that like a dead horse. I'm like, let's do something else because
that's what started it all.
Yeah, but it's still no. It's like
people are nerd raging all over the internet right now.
Well, they can rage all they want. It's just like with Indiana Jones. Like Indiana Jones was fine, and then they did Crystal Skull, and you're like, what the heck were they thinking?
I will agree with you on that. They kind of did rape Indy in South Park.
Aren't they making another Indiana Jones movie?
Yeah.
Heaven help them, because Crystal Skull was awful. Like, what can they do? I mean, they can't get any worse because
they should open it up.
Oh, they can get worse. I mean, the guy that they were trying to bring in to replace Indy, if he ends up taking the main character role.
See, Mud was supposed to be that guy. It was supposed to be Shia LaBeouf taking over for Indy.
Oh, Shia LaBeouf is not going to definitely be in it.
Because he had the balls to say this is a shitty movie, and everybody like what's his name was mad at him. Harrison Ford went off. He was like, Shia LaBeouf was an idiot, but he knew the movie was crap, so he was like, it was crap. Like, well,
he was right in calling him an idiot, though.
He is crazy. I will give you that he is he's crazy, but at least he was like, this movie is terrible. He didn't pretend that it was good. Like, when me and Brandon went to go watch it with one of our friends. When it was over, we all three were walking out of the movie theater silent. And then Josh was like, that was awesome. And like, I look at Brandon and I'm like, our marriage really depends on how he reacts to this. And we both at the same time, like, I looked him in the eye, and it was like, I knew he hated it as much as I did. And we were like, yeah,
now,
no.
to be somewhat defensive of the movie, I think it was somewhat passable.
No,
but
do you ever see?
The extent of my opinion on it.
Like, it was like, I was hanging in there until like the monkey scene happened, and I was like, no, this is not happening. Like, what is this craziness with these monkeys? I'm like, who thought this was a good idea?
What,
it was
didn't
like,
have any problem with the anthill?
Oh, it was all like so off. And I like Temple of Doom. I like Temple of Doom. People hate Temple of Doom. I like Temple of Doom. This was like 90 times as worse. As it's like they ended on a high note with like Last Crusade. Like, I felt Last Crusade like got back to like original indie. And then Crystal Skull. Like, I don't understand.
I mean, with as bad as it did turn out, though, I am glad Shaw Connor didn't come out of retirement for the movie.
He probably read the script and was like, no. I'm sorry.
But we have time for one more news topic, and then we have to do the giveaway and then wrap things up. So, Aura, why don't you go ahead and pick up our next news topic, and then we'll do the giveaway.
You sure you want me to pick it? Because I'll probably go off on another tangent.
I just have to cut the tangent short.
Okay. Let's see what we haven't talked about. We talked about that one. We talked about that one. And that one, we covered a lot. And even with the tangents. The skin exchange, like the gambling. Like, I think they make a fair point, because I get it, but when it comes to, like, the skins and stuff, the SGOL, or I guess it's SGO
CSGO
Lounge. Yeah, CSGO Lounge. Oh. But, yeah, like, I don't think that the skin exchange is really that big of a deal. I don't see it as gambling, but...
Well, it kind of is, because they're trying to pass it off as, like, gambling when...
So they can turn it in.
Well, I mean, they're still taking stuff that's on the Steam store, or excuse me, the Steam marketplace, like the digital items, and changing out for actual cash. That's not going to be okay, because it's going against the terms of service with Steam.
But still, like, you could almost say, like Steam key giveaways are, in a sense, breaking those terms of use. Because
they're not changing that out for real money. I mean, we're just giving away Steam keys, which is digital property changing hands.
But that doesn't mean that they can't take that key and, like, return the game after they claim it. You know what I mean?
No, they can't.
And get their money back. But they can't, or can? No,
you can't.
Oh, well.
The only people that can actually return that is the people that actually bought it. And that's it. So, I mean, I could, in theory, somebody could actually buy a Steam key, give it to somebody, have them redeem it, and I think maybe you could try to do a refund after that, but if it's not redeemed on the same account that you buy it for, I
well, yeah, I would get the email if somebody tried to reclaim it, because it'd be like, hey, blah, 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 blah.
But I mean, with the Steam store, it doesn't really work like that anyway. You buy something that automatically gets added to your account, and that's it.
Yeah. I got you.
And as far as I know, Steam keys themselves can't actually be sold on the Steam marketplace.
No, you can't. Because even with Humble, because I have a Humble subscription, like, they tell you that these keys are for your use.
Mm-hmm.
And blah, 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 blah. So, I can claim a key. That's about as much as I can do. After I get it. But I mean, I can see why they're you're pooping on our parade. We're just trading skins, but then I can see the other side of it too.
Well, I mean, the reason why they're trying to actually go legit with it is because it's a multi-million-dollar business for them. So trying to go legit with it is pretty much the only way they're going to be able to save their business. But the way things have been going, I mean, they're treading on thin ice with it as it is. I don't think they're really going to be getting too far with that.
Well, I don't participate in it because I think it's silly, but...
Well, I mean, they're trying to claim that it's really a core part of, like, esports for CSGO, and that's not why they're trying to keep it going. They're trying to keep it going because they make a lot of money off of it.
Yeah, I get you. It's just like before Minecraft introduced Realms, they were talking about trying to shut down like outside hosting servers because it broke their terms of use. Because you're not supposed to do that, and people were specifically want people that charged for people to access their server. Like if you said you have to pay so much in order to play on our server, or you could donate this and you get this. Like Mojang was like, no, that's not really against our terms of service. So, and then they had Realms, and they were still talking about potentially doing that. So, like, I get it, but.
Well, we got a few more minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and jump into one more quick news topic. There's a report of Nintendo NX will have a new Mario and Pokemon title within 6 months of launch for the Nintendo NX. I mean, we kind of expect something like that for the Mario game, but when it comes to Pokemon, I'm actually kind of interested to see how that's going to go.
They haven't had
a mobile/console hybrid.
They haven't had a Pokemon game for like the console since like Pokemon Snap.
Tournament.
Oh, was
yeah,
it
they have a
after
fighting
Snap?
game. There's one. It's a fighting game called Pokken Tournament.
Yeah, Pokken Tournament.
I haven't.
That was after Snap.
Oh yeah, that's actually on Nintendo Wii U right now. That's I think that released like within the past 6 months.
It's like a tournament fighter game with Pokemon.
Well, it makes sense because that's what you do with Pokemon is battle them. But
yeah, like
it's a pure fighting game. It's kind of like similar to like taking Smash and turning it into like a fighting game, similar to like Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's cool.
I'm kind of interested to see how that's going to actually take a Pokemon game, transferring it from something like the 3DS, which is pretty much what they've been limited to, is just the handheld games purely for that, and turning it into like a full console game. Because that's going to up the graphic fidelity for that.
Or whatever the NX is going to be.
I think it makes sense. Well, I think it makes sense though, because to me, like I haven't personally played any of like the legit Pokemon games. Like I played Pokemon Snap when Pokemon Snap was a thing.
I don't know if it will be like an actual like Pokemon game, like as in the 3DS ones, because Sun and Moon comes out in November. So I don't know if they're going to have like a Sun and Moon.
Is it like an MMO though? Like an MMO?
Yeah, but
like
you
an
have to
RPG?
consider they're saying this is going to be within 6 months of the release of the NX. The NX is coming out in March, so it would be coming out around the holiday season, in theory, which is almost a year after the one that's coming out right now.
Are the like traditional games structured like an RPG though?
Yeah,
sort of. Yeah.
Then it really doesn't like. It stands to reason that it would do fine on a console.
I think so. The only difference would be that it would the graphic performance of the game would be a lot higher than they usually have for something like the 3DS, and they could go like leaps and bounds ahead of what they currently have right now with something like that.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people would give their left nut for a Pokemon game with Skyrim level graphics.
That's a pretty hardcore devotion to Pokemon. Like.
Can't they just make a mod in Skyrim for Pokemon? I mean,
they probably could.
But we got 2 minutes left, so let's go ahead and do the giveaway. Onibaku, why don't you go ahead and pick a game off that list, and I will do the roll for the winner.
Pick a game off the list for a roll. Let's see. Eeny, meeny. Said we had 2 minutes. Let's see.
Milking it.
What game would I want? So I don't have to choose that. I've been giving out a lot of gray goo. I should probably. Man,
you know what? Just like saying gray goo.
Has goo in the throat. Let's. I want to give away War Machine Tactics with the Mercenary Factions bundle.
All right, and that is going to good old Jason Gill.
Jason Gill.
Congrats. Congratulations, Paul Blart. I think that's what he's going by these days.
Did you say Paul Blart?
Yeah. Oh, he changed his name. He changed his name on Steam. Anyway, he changed his name on Steam. He's a dork. But congratulations, kid. Congratulations.
Oh, you made us lose a subscriber now.
No. Jason is awesome. He's got an amazing sense of humor. He'll know I'm just teasing him.
Hey, did you all see the message I sent you on Skype?
Yes, I did.
Because if I did, it would have screwed up the cameras.
I did. I've seen that episode.
That's how my brother and I felt whenever we saw Crystal Skull. and I just mention it, and you'd be like, "Shut up! It never happened. There is no Crystal Skull." Like my brother, like literally, he will not acknowledge it. And if they make another indie movie, they should just have him like wake up and be like, "Oh man, that was a horrible dream."
They should. That'd be excellent.
That would work.
Yeah.
That would work.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Let's just... yeah, we can sign off on that.
So we will see everybody in 2 weeks for episode 15. Possibly next week for Overrated Shenanigans if I can get 5 people together for that. I don't think we can count on Jay doing that because I know Fridays are a bad night for him. And, I mean, he's missing tonight, so...
Busy man.
Yeah.
Busy man.
And I think we actually found out that the cards would not load properly for Amanda, so... Yeah.
Well, we got to find someone that doesn't have a Mac, because how can you game on a Mac?
I know.
I don't know.
Like I know there's like 2 games that I'm not busting on her personally. I'm just busting on Macs. Like Macs are good for like.
Show is over. See everybody in 2 weeks.
Take